10 verbal triggers that create instant sexual tension with women. Sexual tension is not created by charm. It is triggered by how your words make her feel uncertain, observed, and exposed. That is the real power. Most men never tap into what high value men understand is this. Women respond not to what you say, but to the psychological frame you deliver it from. You are not trying to impress her. You are pressing on her subconscious vulnerabilities. These 10 verbal triggers are not small talk. They are precision tools, and once you use them, the game changes forever. 1. You didn't expect me to notice that, did you? This line flips the frame completely. It positions you as the observer and her as the one under analysis. Evolutionary behavior shows that when a woman feels seen beyond the surface, it sparks a unique form of internal tension that is part validation and part exposure. This subtle duality ignites a magnetic push and pull. Use this line whenever she slips up or reveals till it reminds her she is not in control of the dynamic. You are too. Interesting choice of words. Women process communication primarily on emotional levels. When you pause and specifically call out how she said something and not what she said, it disrupts her automatic patterns of communication. Suddenly she starts second-guessing her phrasing and tone. That small moment of doubt creates a micro-vulnerability. This is not about criticism or attack. It is about psychological dominance through subtle interruption. You are not attacking, you are evaluating, and by doing so you establish an emotional hierarchy without saying a word. 3. You don't usually say that to just anyone, do you? This line inserts a powerful question mark into her intent. Evolutionary psychology reveals that women test men for selectivity. They want to know, is this man easily impressed or is he hard to win over? This trigger reverses that frame on her. You imply she has overexposed herself, and now it is her who needs to prove she is not predictable. When certainty drops, tension rises, and that creates attraction for. I like how you said that, like you meant it. On the surface, this sounds like a compliment, but it is actually a trap. The reason is it forces her to emotionally invest in what she just said. You are implying intent. Behind that implication lies a subtle demand for authenticity. Once she feels her words have weight, she starts performing to maintain that perception. That performance builds psychological friction. She becomes more self-aware and more reactive in the interaction. 5. You ever wonder why you're drawn to certain people? This question triggers introspection, and that is extremely powerful. Introspection in conversation with a dominant man builds a deep-rooted desire for emotional mirroring. When you ask her to reflect, she inevitably starts applying that question to you. The moment she begins connecting the dots, you become the center of her internal puzzle, and that builds irresistible tension. That reaction says a lot more than you think. Most men chase clarity, but high-value men reward ambiguity. This line plays on emotional displacement. It tells her you reacted emotionally, but you are not going to explain it. For her, that unknown creates a mental itch because now she needs to decode how she came across. That loop creates tension without a single compliment, and the tension it creates is far more magnetic than any praise could be. 7. You're not as in control as you think. Are you here? You target the illusion of female control. Most women pride themselves on emotional intuition and social command. This line breaks that frame. It introduces a sense of loss aversion. She feels her perceived power slipping away and wants to regain it, but to do that, she has to re-engage on your terms. This creates a dynamic where she chases you emotionally and cognitively. 8. That wasn't the answer I expected. Why does this work? Because it activates her reward-seeking patterns. When you act like her answer was insufficient or too revealing, it pushes her to chase your approval. But this is not approval through validation. Seeking it is approval through deeper engagement. You are not rejecting her. You are signaling that your standards are higher than average, and that elevates the entire interaction. 9. You're actually kind of dangerous when you talk like that. This line creates arousal through uncertainty. It hints at chaos, risk, and thrill, all tied to her own behavior. You are not stating attraction directly. You are implying volatility. Women crave polarity. They want stability in the man and danger in the interaction. Use this line when she tries to be edgy. Let her feel that her power has consequences. That emotional charge is intoxicating and impossible to ignore. 10. You notice how this energy shifts when you're around. This is your nuke. It does not describe you. It describes the field around you, how the environment bends when she enters it, makes her feel like she has unconscious influence. And now she's wondering if you noticed what she didn't. That tension is not casual, it is chemical, and only grounded men know how to use it. Absolutely. Let's continue with the next part, as if this script is evolving into a deeper masterclass on creating sexual tension through verbal framing. This section builds on the 10 triggers, expanding into how to master the art of calibration, understand emotional pacing, and anchor tension over time. Think of this as the second layer where high-value communication turns into sustained Dominance. If you think these 10 lines are just about words, you're missing the deeper layer. Words are just the delivery mechanism. The true engine behind these triggers is psychological framing. It's how you present yourself emotionally, energetically, and behaviorally while delivering them. Every time you use one of these lines, you're reinforcing a frame. That frame says this: I'm not here to win you over. I'm here to watch what you do under pressure. This is why uncertainty is magnetic. Because when a woman feels just slightly off balance, not in fear, but in fascination, her subconscious starts pulling your presence into sharper focus. She begins to notice you more because your energy is now unpredictable. Predictability is comfort. But unpredictability? That's intrigue. That's sexual. Sexual tension isn't built from pressure alone. It's built from tension and release, like a perfectly timed rhythm. If you're always pushing, you become aggressive. If you're always retreating, you become passive. The elite few men understand that sexual tension is a dance of psychological precision. Every time you deliver a trigger, you pause, you watch, you calibrate. Does she lean in? Does her voice soften? Do her pupils dilate? These are green lights. If you overplay, she pulls back. If you underplay, she zones out. Your job isn't to control her response. Your job is to amplify her awareness. That you're aware of her response. Most men can create tension for a moment. Few know how to sustain it. Sustained tension isn't about lines, it's about identity. You become the kind of man whose words always carry subtext. Your silences aren't empty, they're loaded. Your compliments aren't flattery, they're puzzles. Every trigger above becomes more powerful when anchored to a reputation. She doesn't just react to what you say, she reacts to who you are when you say it. That's the difference between a man who uses a tactic and a man who embodies a psychological blueprint. When a woman feels that your presence alone shifts the emotional climate of a room, everything you say has weight. The real mastery isn't the moment you say it, it's what happens hours later. Sexual tension that lingers is tension that loops. Emotional loops are created when you plant questions that she can't stop thinking about. Not questions that need answers. Questions that make her re-examine herself. Ask yourself this: what do you say that makes her want to replay the conversation later? What do you leave unsaid that makes her wish you said more? This is where high-value men dominate, not in words. In the emotional residue they leave behind. This line is a mirror and a challenge. You're reflecting something about her she hasn't admitted, and at the same time challenging her to prove you wrong or prove you right. Either way, she's now engaged, deeply. This works because you are assigning her a hidden trait, intensity, and implying you can see it, even if she hides it. That's psychological exposure. And when a woman feels like you see what she doesn't show anyone else, the intimacy skyrockets. The game doesn't change because of words. It changes because of intent layered inside words. When your intent is rooted in grounded awareness, controlled dominance, and calibrated tension, she feels it in her nervous system, not just her ears. You're not chasing excitement. You're creating psychological gravity. She doesn't just want your attention. She wants your recognition. She doesn't just want validation. She wants to feel exposed by someone she respects. That's the true nature of attraction. That's what most men will never understand.